And WENY Political Analyst Dr. Jim Twombly joining us in studio today. Jim, we're sounding like a bit of a broken record for the third week in a row. We are talking about documents. Breaking news out this afternoon. Another set of classified documents have been found, but this time belonging to the home of former Vice President Mike Pence. They were actually found last week. His attorney came out today and made that public. Pence hired an outside counsel to come in and search through his files from his time with the Trump administration, and a small number of documents with classified markings were found. So, Jim, tell us, how does this keep happening?
Well, apparently our government sucks at making sure these documents don't leave government facilities. This case, and it's very early since we've just learned about it today, seems more parallel to the Biden situation than to the Trump situation. With all the coverage of misplaced documents, Pence did the right thing and proactively searched for anything he wasn't supposed to have. And upon finding it, immediately notified the proper authorities. When he was asked last summer, he told reporters that he didn't think he had any documents, but apparently with the details of how Biden ended up with some, he thought it prudent to check.
Mm-hmm. And now Pence's lawyer to the archives used the words inadvertently boxed and transported to Pence's home. So does that automatically eliminate him or any of his staff from any interest with the Department of Justice?
I would tend to believe what the lawyer is saying here, but the DOJ probably should follow up with an investigation. If nothing else, we need to know how and why this keeps happening.
All right, and we also talked a little bit early in our conversations about this, but should other former officials be checking their storage for these types of documents, or should we have the DOJ or another agency check?
Well, absolutely. They should all do a version of what Biden did and invite a search, maybe just starting with the NARA. It should be all former presidents and vice presidents and cabinet officials, especially those who had access to classified materials, maybe even members of Congress who served on committees with access to sensitive materials. And I think that perhaps Attorney General Garland should think about appointing a special counsel, not specifically to investigate Pence necessarily, but to investigate all potential documents cases. Okay,
and now we have touched on this a little bit in some of our past conversations, but how can we prevent these types of embarrassments from happening in the future?
It's really pretty simple. All documents generated in administration belong to the government and should remain in the custody of the government. From here on out, staff from the National Archives should be the ones supervising the packing up of offices of high-ranking government officials, and nothing that isn't clearly the personal property of the office holder should be packed away and stored by the archives. If officials want access to these documents for the writing of their memoirs, they should be able to borrow the documents and return them when done. But the ones marked classified, unless the current president has gone through the process to declassify them, should remain secure.
All right, Jim, thank you for coming and again discussing this issue for the third week in a row.
Hopefully there won't be a fourth.
All right, thanks, Jim.